Welcome to Straight Talk Sacred Pathway. I'm Stuart Wellborn, a British author and former therapist, and each week I sit down with Wa-Na-Nee-Che, a spiritual elder from Turtle Island, to explore the deeper truths behind healing, ceremony, and connection to Source. Hello there, Wa-Na-Nee-Che. How are you today?
I'm doing fine, enjoying the scorching weather.
You've got scorching weather.
Yeah, in the upper 90s.
Uh, we've had some rain for the first time in ages,
Uh,
which is nicer because it's cooler. Because I'm not a big fan of the heat. I can't sleep in it.
yeah, the good thing about Colorado, though, like I said, it's a dry heat, so that if the wind blows, it feels cool. And it was really funny because growing up, I can still remember time during the summer that it would get 120 degrees in North Dakota, which you would say, well, it shouldn't get that hot. Colorado doesn't get that warm. Why does North Dakota get that warm? But I can remember times just sitting in the shade, completely pooped out because it was 120 degrees outside and the humidity was about 90, around 90, maybe 87, 90 degree, So you walked outside and just like walking into a wall.
As I've said many times, I work in Celsius, but I understand that heat because when I was in the Navy, I've traveled, around the world, been to Hong Kong and the Gulf and things. So a very different heat to what we get here in the UK.
Yeah. One of the things that I was going to say is that people have to start realizing what their gift is. I remember my dad used to share a lot of things with me. I was the youngest of nine. My oldest brother, Michael, passed when he was an infant, when he was not even 1 year old yet. But we were sitting with my dad a lot, and my dad would share a lot of things with me rather than share it with the other kids because he knew that I would understand the spiritual side of it. And I remember we were sitting on top of the hill one day and we were talking, and I was watching him, and he would go from plant to plant, and then he put his hand out. Then he'd go to another plant, put his hand out. And I said, Dad, what are you doing? He said, well, he said, I'm talking to the plants. He said, I talk to them in colors. And he said, I'm trying to find what is best to help your sister because she was ill at the time. So he finally found the herb he was looking for. And then I just asked him, I said, when you do that and you look around, I was watching you, I said, you put your hand around different type of herbs and plants. And he said, well, he said, I had to find the right one to make sure that it would heal your sister. So I sat there and I said, could you teach me how to basically converse with the plants and herbs? He said, well, he said, what do you see, son? So I looked at him and I said, well, I see the ground. I see the grass. I see your hand. I see you. He said, do you see the color coming from my hand? I said, no. He said, well, then I cannot teach you this gift because this is not yours. He said, in time you will have a vision, and in that vision you will be told what your connection is, what you can do as an individual because you will find your pathway. But he said, my pathway is my pathway. He said, when I leave this world, it comes with me. He said, so you'll learn later on that that vision will come to you and they will show you who you are. You never have to pay for it because that vision is free. He said, but a lot of people have to understand the difference between a vision and a dream. Too many times society doesn't want you to learn the spiritual connection because if you learn your spiritual connection, society loses its power over you.
Mm-hmm.
You know who you are. But he said, a lot of people, he said, go to people to learn things that they're not supposed to learn because it's not their gift. So he said, don't ever go to somebody to have them teach you. because the energies are your teachers. And if people learn how to connect, they will basically, again, show you who you are and show you what you can do within the circle.
So we've covered that many times. I think that people do need to connect and ask questions and find their own gifts. But what I'm going to jump on today is a continuation from what we were talking about at the end of last week. And you mentioning plants just leads me in nicely because, as I said, I wanted to talk about drugs. Now,
Mhm.
there are different categories of drugs, obviously, because, for example, I don't know how big it is in America, but in the UK, in the rave scene, people used to take, well, they still do probably, MDMA and speed because it was a social thing and it gave them energy for dancing. There are obviously people who take drugs to blot out the world, heroin addicts and whatever, meth heads maybe. And then there are people who take drugs for spiritual purposes. And there are obviously things like peyote. I can never pronounce the word, but the one in South America that people use for visions.
Uh-huh.
Did the Native Americans use drugs in a spiritual way then? Your ancestors?
There was a tribe that basically they were on hard times and they were starving to death. And one of the elders went out to go out and talk to the creator. And while he was there, a coyote came. And the coyote said, I will show you a herb. And if you take this herb, you will they will show you how your tribe can survive. So he gave him this herb. He took the herb, and in the herb division, the dog came to him. And the dog said, there are a lot of us. So therefore, they said, so that your tribe can survive, I want you to basically devour us, to eat us. So he did that, but the coyotes basically said, the herb I'm going to give you should only be used once because of your situation. Don't use it once the tribe has stopped starving. Don't use it again. So that ended up saving the tribe's life because the dog was willing to give up their life to sacrifice so that the tribe would exist, could eat. Well, that plant happened to be known as peyote.
Mm-hmm.
And but unfortunately, they now have a religion in which they use peyote. And it's kind of almost like peyote is a forced hallucination, you may want to call it, that will allow you to expand your conception of things. And what happens sometimes, though, is that we have to be careful because you can go what they call, like, even like for acid or LSD or other things that are used to induce hallucinations, it can kill you if your brain isn't ready to accept what they're going to show you. And what happens then is that it overwhelms you to a point where you don't come back. You're forever trapped. So when we look at herbs, herbs are there all around us to help heal us, to bring us into balance. Our body is made up of almost everything upon the earth, below the earth, and above the earth. And when we get sick, we run to the doctor, and the doctor basically prescribes a prescription. If we knew how to connect to all of nature, Nature has the cures for everything. So when we look at the herbs and everything, as it relates to our body, when we get ill, that means we're unbalanced, that there's something within our body that basically is disappearing. So we need to connect to the energies of the herbal plants, of the animals, and connect with them to find out what we need to balance our body. Now, there are three types of ways we can do that. The one that we use the most is, like I said, we use the herbal healing. But when we look at herbal healing, society and scientists have taken that information. They go to a plant and a herb and they take it and they duplicate it. But when they duplicate it, they make it into a dead cell. The herb itself are certain ways to make these herbs, and a lot of it is basically utilizing the energy of the water, which again, we're about 90% water. So the water itself becomes a healing agent. So once we put the herb into the water, there's a certain ceremony that you can do when you pick the herb. You explain why you're picking it, and then you make an offering to it because anytime you take, you give.
Mm-hmm.
When you go back home, again, you utilize that herb in water. Now, the secret to it is number one, when you put it into the water on the stove, put your hands over it again. And again, it's not only the herb, remember, it's other energies now. It's the water energy. So what you're doing is you're asking it to basically bring balance to if to someone who is ill. So once you do that, you bring that herb into a boil. Once it boils, you shut it off and let it simmer for 15 minutes. And again, now the energy has a time to mix. You take it, you strain it into a glass, and then you drink one in the morning and then drink one before you go to bed at night. But when you take and make it into a dead cell, how do you take it? You take it with a shot. They put a needle into your arm. And what they're doing is they're filling your body with dead cells. It's like when we take acupuncture. It's really a healing way of calling upon the energies to help heal people. So when you do the acupuncture and you stick that needle into your arm, it's a foreign object. Your body is trained to go to it and to fight it because it's not supposed to be there. But as it fights that particular place where the needle is, it heals it. So that's what acupuncture basically is all about. Is the idea when they put it in there, the energies attack it. So, but the energies can cure. So that's why acupuncture becomes so successful because they know the energy points of where to put the needle so that the energy will come and help you. So when we look at certain drugs, remember, a lot of the drugs we take is to take us away from reality so that we get so fed up with the way the world is, the way society is, that we want to escape.
Yes, that's the point I was on about earlier. Sometimes people are taking drugs purely just to numb the pain, you could say.
And
Yeah. And then they go into their little world. But what happens is that they end up getting trapped in that world because they start using it as a crutch. Rather than trying to resolve their issue and the problems that's causing it, they want to escape it and they don't want to face it.
and the difference between a herb and a drug is man-made through chemicals, where herbs are made from the earth. Even though cocaine is made from a plant that is a herb, but it's just how humans uh what is it called, extract from that plant into a chemical. That's when it becomes a drug.
I thought you were going to wade in at some point Matthew, because I could see your chair there in the background.
When he started rocking,
Yeah.
he wants to do the talking.
No, yeah, just let you know the
Okay. Now,
difference.
Right. Like I said, like the cocaine and stuff like that. Again, the way it's extracted, remember they change it then.
yes.
It's no longer in a, it's like they say, I don't know if it's true or not, but Coca-Cola used to be made out of cocaine.
Allegedly, it was one of the ingredients, wasn't it?
Yeah. So that was a way, like everything is made today for a person to get addicted to.
Well, whilst I agree on that, you cannot get addicted to LSD.
Yeah.
That's been proven, but that's by the by. A question then, I want to go through the different types of drugs here, and then you can wade in on what you think. So, for example, cannabis. Now, over here it's illegal. What I'm smoking is CBD, which is an extract of hemp. Okay, not that I mean, I used to smoke shitloads of weed, even though it was illegal. But my question is, because it's legal in a lot of your states.
Yeah.
And that is literally the plant. What
Yeah.
is your view on that?
What, why does society make it illegal?
Well, that's a whole big topic.
Because it comes down to money.
Yes.
Cannabis itself and hemp are originally herbs, and they were used for certain things to help heal people. Well, if you had a herb that could do healing of different parts of your body, it would put the pharmaceutical companies out of business. So remember, Congress isn't controlled by the people, it's controlled by the money.
Um, the most of the reason why marijuana got illegal in the first place was because it actually affected the oil and timber company more than anything else, because that actually was where the big money was. And that's where corporation and our government was making a lot of money from more than anything else. Look at Afghanistan and all that type of situation just for oil, or how we treat our forests and our woods by just chopping down trees in the rainforest
Mhm.
itself.
Matthew, don't go off too deep into a tangent about that because I completely agree with you. I know all the things about the
Yeah,
background of
that,
cannabis prohibition. What I want to stick within is its uses rather than why it's banned.
Mhm.
Because obviously it's now legal in many states over there. Over here, it's still illegal, but they don't clamp down on it as much as when I used to be smoking it, and you could end up in prison for smoking a joint. So, what is its actual uses then?
Well, again, people have to remember that, that the Hebrews way back used to smoke it. You remember those horns they had? Sometimes they would have the cannabis or the hemp and
Ahi.
they would smoke it. Hashish, they call it. So it goes back a long, long ways in which it was used. George Washington and Thomas Jefferson grew hemp, because and hemp was used a lot of times for the early Model Ts as petrol.
Was it? Did not know
Yep.
that.
And they just found out again that hemp can be made into petrol.
Multiple uses. I mean,
Oh,
being a Navy man, it used to make ropes as well out of it.
there's 50,000
There's
uses of hemp alone. And a lot of people don't realize it, that they can save the world with hemp because everything that we pollute the earth with, hemp can make and it's recyclable.
Exactly. But I'm
I,
trying to stick within the
Yeah.
drug and its effects thing just for this particular conversation.
Uh,
It's obviously got the big stoner vibe and like people go, hey, dude, and all that kind of stuff. What should cannabis be used for then?
as a healing entity,
uh,
and sometimes to if you're got a blockage, but it should only be used temporarily in order to help you realize what it is. Now, hemp is a little bit different because hemp has so many medical advantages to it.
Not just that.
And so, again, hemp can be utilized for a lot of things without getting addicted to it.
Yeah, that's why I'm smoking
Different-
CBD now.
Yeah. And the whole idea is that you can't smoke a rope, even though rope can basically be made out of hemp. And like I said, there's 50,000 ways you can use hemp. So hemp is a very powerful, how would you say it, friend to us because it can help us in many ways without getting addicted to it.
Um,
Go
want
on,
some-
Matthew. I know you want to wade in.
okay, you want something that can blow your mind, though?
Yes, please.
If I am correct, I might get this wrong, but it is quoted in the Bible that God gave us a plant that would be used for multiple uses as a tool. But he never
No.
told us what plant it was. But as it
Yeah.
turned out to be, it's actually marijuana and hemp.
And that's why it was used by the Hebrews way back when they first became a country, that
Okay,
they were using it because it was a plant that was given to them, an all healing plant.
and don't forget the Romans used it too in their
Yeah.
structures.
But like I said, a lot of the stuff that comes out, cocaine, heroin, was all basically enhanced to be utilized to control people and to make money.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to steer away from that because there's plenty of people that will talk about that. I want to actually talk about any of its positive things or where people are using it wrong. So back to let's just stick with cannabis for a little bit longer. You said hemp's got lots of different healing properties. It can be like for, appetite, it can be pain relief and all sorts of things. What should cannabis really be used for specifically? Do you know?
I would say that cannabis itself is like the peyote. It enhances your awareness. And what it does, it actually puts the brain to sleep. But like I said, every time you use things, you have to understand it's a live entity. But you can't abuse it because you're only supposed to use it when you really actually need it. And what you do is you talk to it because you have to tell that plant exactly what you need it for. And then once you resolve it, but people don't use it to resolve problems. They just take it because it makes them feel good
Okay.
and takes them out of reality.
All right. I do streaming and stuff like that. And one of the things I don't like doing is that I don't like to smoke on when I stream and shit like that and try to keep it more, matured, try to be mature about it and not have people see that stuff to influence them and stuff like that because marijuana to me is a medical kind of situation because I have ADHD, including other medical issues. Like I have a pulled left hip, for instance, so it helps with dealing with that type of pain, including mucus issues. Okay, so marijuana is used for, like I said, in my case, a medical type of situation, just like you. Like you said, CBD. CBD is a medical term for the type of chemical that is used to treat medical issues with cannabis.
Like you were saying, a lot of people are using it in streaming. For example, I believe, not that I've seen it myself, but like Joe Rogan's podcast is quite often he gets a guest on and he gets stoned and he's talking like that. And that is not I'm judging him for anybody for that because I have many years where I just got stoned, but now I treat the plant differently and like you say, respecting it. So what you just said then was talking to the cannabis. What could you talk to it for then? What kind of conditions would you say that it would be useful for anybody listening or watching?
Well, it's like the little ceremony about walking in a circle and carrying two stones. And when you're pulled at a certain direction, you put that stone down and you walk along again. If you come to the same spot where you have that pull, you put the stone down. And then you discuss the issue that you're having problems with. And the same thing with the drugs is the fact that number one, you have to find out why you need it. And then again, don't get hooked on it. Now, I've had 4 or 5 people who want to quit. They want to get off the heroin. They want to get off the cocaine and stuff like that. But the first question I asked them was that, do you really want to get off it? Because if you don't want to get off it and you're just trying to clean your body out, you're going to go right back to it.
Good point.
So, 5 people that I worked with, they said, no, it's ruining my life, and I need to get focused again. So, believe it or not, the Thunderbird Lodge pulls the infection, pulls the addiction out of your body.
In the mind.
You have to go through 2 of them, but it's extremely hot.
Well, we've discussed this before, and I agree, and I hope you're coming over because the one thing that I do want to cut out is tobacco, and I do struggle with that because I've been smoking since I was about 13 or 14. But like what you said, yes, I used to smoke weed a lot, and it was in the early days, I guess it was one of those wow, and you'd have
Yeah.
mad talks about how the universe works, but then it it kind of lost that appeal, and that's why I don't smoke it very often nowadays.
You know why? Because when you start smoking weed the first time, it opens your mind to perceive different ideas.
Oh yeah.
It means that there's more out there that
Yeah.
you realize.
Yeah, your mind can't really function correctly until the energies control it.
Yeah, well, the reason I made the decision to stop smoking weed virtually every day was because I wasn't getting shit done. I was procrastinating on things and going, "Oh, I'll do that later. I'll just have a joint instead."
No, I know that feeling. I know exactly that feeling.
So now I'll have one now and again when it's like, I just want to unwind, had a long day, something like that. But it's very rare now.
It was kind of strange because the 5 people that end up completely getting out of their heroin cocaine addiction, they all 5 of them went to your medical people, and they told them that this works, and you need to basically utilize the Thunderbird Lodge with Wa-Na-Nee-Che to help people get off the heroin and cocaine. And they said, no, we're not going to do that because there's too much money and it'd put them out of business.
Sounds about right.
Every one of those 5 people became, I would just say it, instructors on how people need to get off drugs.
Yeah, I mean, I've done cocaine in the past, but never to the point of addiction.
Tried it once. I didn't
Huh?
like it. I tried it once. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
ADHD. Doesn't go well
It's like the song, like the song Ringo Starr said, "Oh no, no, I don't use it no more. I'm tired of waking up on the floor."
I was introduced to it on my 25th birthday, and I only took it because I had although I'd done other things, I was like, oh, that's one of the big ones, that's serious. And um, I took it because it was my 25th birthday, and the people I was with, I trusted them. And apparently, once I'd had it, I was drinking, knocking back pints and going, "Oh, I don't know why this is illegal. This is great. People should, oh, everybody should have this."
And like I said, it gives us a good feeling, but then we get addicted to the good feeling
well,
when we should basically be finding in life things that make us happy.
True.
the problem is that when it comes to addiction, it has to deal with how your brain function. And yes, all the whole thing about addiction, it is all in the mind and how the brain works when it comes to addiction. Because we do have certain signals going off, like in a cycle, telling us, "Hey, let's have another cigarette. Hey, let's have another cigarette too."
I think the problem with cigarettes, though, Matthew, because I used to help people quit smoking, even though I carried on smoking myself, is it's not just the addictive part of it, it's the habit because we have one after a meal. We have one with a tea or a coffee and drinking. So there's the association as well as the addiction.
That becomes part of your daily life because, say, for instance, you have a very a TV show that comes on, and you really like that show, so you watch it every week, and you become addicted to it.
Yeah.
But the whole idea is that what happens when you turn the TV, I mean, the program stops. All of a sudden, you got a void in your life. So then you try to find something that will fill it.
Yeah. Yeah. We've
Maybe
got
signals going off in your brain.
yeah, we've got just under 10 minutes left. I still want to wrap up a little bit on drugs then,
I
or
got one for you then.
go on then.
DMT then. You know anything about DMT?
Funny enough, that's where I was just about to go because I can't pronounce it. But I can't pronounce it. What
It's
our
called
has
like dextratomus. I can't pronounce. I can't.
not that.
A long
That's
ass scientific name. Let's just put it that way.
no. I'm on about the South American cocktail drink
Um,
ayahuasca. I can't.
yep, ayahuasca. We both said at the same time.
You know,
Yeah, I can't. I can never pronounce it correctly, but that's got DMT in it. And that's where I wanted to kind of wrap up this on hallucinogenics, because hallucinogenics are very different to any other kind of drug. A, they're not addictive, and they open your mind in a completely different way. I've done LSD and I've done mushrooms, and you know, I've connected with things and all sorts of shit.
Okay,
twins.
so I've done DMT actually. I've tried
Have
it
you?
once. Yes, it's an amazing experience. It actually, you ever heard of Tool?
Yes.
Band Tool. Okay, well, they a lot of their art is actually all inspired by DMT and the experience of actual DMT. And that a lot of people believe that the whole concept of DMT could connect a lot of the religion together and how we got our concept of religion in the first place because of what they were shown during DMT. Because DMT is actually a chemical within our body that makes us dream.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and this is actually the connection to our vision as well, and how we have such a strong connection to these visions is because of DMT and what DMT shows us. My experience was that they showed me. That's why I brought up the whole spiritual advisor type of situation, because that's where I actually learned the concept of spiritual advisors, and that we actually all have spiritual advisors, our guardian angels that are watching over us. And I felt both of their hands on my shoulder. Like it felt extreme heat. Like, holy crap, I never felt like this amount of heat around me before, you know? And I can hear the voice so clearly explaining things clearly to me that they're telling me that I am not nuts. The voices you hear in your head are true and is actually us. We're here to guide you and teach you what we need to teach you. And it's very crazy. And not just that, I did see the dimension of colors as well. It's like an ocean of multiple colors just paint us around us, like it's in a crazy dimension to see as well. And
DMT is on my bucket list because it sounds amazing.
it,
Over here, we have magic mushrooms that have psilocybin in, and the colors and things that you're talking about. I mean, very different to LSD and those kind of trips. Because that just made me think of a film. Is Young Guns? Have you seen Young Guns?
Yeah.
he's
Do
more
you
into
see the size of that
Was
chicken?
that? That's my favorite. See the size of that goddamn chicken.
The one I liked was when they're riding through the camp of the tribe, and they said, "Why are they letting us through? Because we're in the spirit world. They can't see us."
Was
Yeah, that,
that supposed to be peyote they'd taken in that then?
yeah. The whole situation, like in South America, you were talking about, they utilized that particular medicine, that particular energy, I should say, to enhance you so that you would understand who you are, to basically find the answers you are looking for because you were meant to have them. But again, once you find that, you shouldn't have to use it again because you're connected.
Right.
You go there without having to be induced. You can just sit there and you have the connection say, boom, you're there within a second. And you're learning. That's what the visions are all about sometimes, is the visions. It can be a high that will show you, and you go to a place where you'll start to learn. And they will teach you everything you need to know about who you are and what you can do and how you can connect with your gift. So again, these, I hate to call them drugs.
Yeah, exactly.
I would probably buy enhancement tools that will help you. But like I said, use it for the purpose that you're supposed to do. Because when they were using South America, again, the individual was searching for something. So in order for him to break the control of the mind, it was given to him so that he could go to where he needed to be in order to learn what he needed to know to resolve the issue that was bothering him or bothering her. So again, it was an enhancement tool that was utilized for us to kill the brain and raise the spirit.
Yep.
Oh, that's really cool. I mean, one of the philosophies around taking these drugs is that it helps us turn off our ego and the bullshit that, usually going on in the head, the worries, our concerns, and for example, if you go to a rave and you take MDMA, everybody's almost at that level of unconditional love. Everybody's friends, everything's nice. Nobody's thinking about the jobs or anything like that until, after they've come down from it. So, obviously, with hallucinogenics, that's opening your mind to a different level
What
then.
was that drug called? What was that drug you were talking about? The what?
Ecstasy, MDMA.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
ecstasy. Yeah, because the whole thing is, again, our brain has chemicals that pump certain types of chemicals that makes us help us feel these types of emotions. And what does ecstasy do? It focuses on that one particular chemical in our brain that makes us feel love.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
only
now
problem,
you're just being boring and biological and mechanistic, Matthew.
the only problem with ecstasy and basically drugs that are like, they increase the population of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Right, this has been a fascinating, different topic for a change, but we are going to get kicked out in a minute. Any final thoughts from either of you before it kicks us out?
Anything, Matt?
Nah,
You're okay?
I'm good.
It's just like I said, understand what you're looking for before you do anything. And if you can understand it, don't go there. But if you're having problems with it, try to find some kind of ways that will induce and enhance your understanding of who you are.
Thanks for listening to Straight Talk Sacred Pathway. If you'd like to ask Wa-Na-Nee-Che a question, you can email me at stuart@realityresponsibility.com. The link will be in the description. And don't forget, you can download a powerful guided meditation for free at humancircleoflife.com.